Hello, calculator.
Greetings and salutations, Mr. 411. Another episode of Crossing the Lines is about to hit the airwaves.
Yes, sir. You know it. Today is Thursday, September 29th, 2022. We're going to dive into week number 5 for the college scene and week number 4 for the NFL scene. So should be intriguing, man. Last week was full of surprises, and this week's there's no different. It's going to be exciting. So I can't wait for you to provide the listeners with the goods that are needed.
Yes,
All right.
that's right.
And we welcome everybody to Crossing the Lines. Calculator,
Yes,
are you ready?
I am ready when you are, Mr. 411.
All right, Crossing the Lines. Here we go. We're back.
We are back.
Already, Calculator. Hey, let's go ahead and get this business out the way because I know on our fantasy football show you was asking for it, and I did get a lot of feedback from the listeners. They can't wait, man. They always want me to ask them to do the following: the like, subscribe, and as you say at the end, notify. So let's show them.
And like we say, folks, we always that notify button is very crucial when it comes to the crossing the line segment because lines move constantly. So and of course, yours truly will try to give you some advice if I might see a line possibly move the other way. I'll say, hey, get this one early before it moves anymore, or I'll say, hey, lay off until right before kickoff, see if you can get more favorable line as it goes. So, but yes, notification is very important when you're looking at lines because, hey, if you would have been on at the precise time of just last week, Arkansas, they were +2 against A&M. Well, it was 2.5. A couple hours before kickoff, if you'd hit that 2.5, you would have won because Arkansas wound up losing, even though it was by a missed field goal. But still, they wound up losing by 2. You get that 2.5, you win. So very, very crucial, that notification button of how important that is. We want you to know as soon as the information drops so you can make an informed decision.
Yeah, absolutely. And to stay informed with us even more, we're simulcast on Blackjack TV. So we thank the Jack,
The
Blackjack
Jack.
TV. That's right. www.blackjacktv.net. All right, Calculator, it's time to get to business. Let's go with the first matchup.
Absolutely. And everybody always loves it even though I've been kind of hurt on Friday nights lately, but hey, they say, if you fall off the horse, get back on again. And that's how it is when it comes to friendly wagers. Always put another friendly wager, even if things don't go your way. However, I do want to preface, it was a very profitable week last week for a lot of people that listen to Crossing the Lines. So, but hey, Friday Night Lights, we got your number 15 Washington Huskies at the UCLA Bruins. This line actually opened at 3.5. So if you were patient enough, this is what caught my eye. And I said, hey, I'm going to put this on the broadcast. Hey, even though Washington is one of only 8 FBS teams that is 4-0 against the spread this season, all of those matchups has occurred in the friendly confines of Huskies home field. Looking at just the last 5 matchups between just these two teams, UCLA is actually 4-1 against the spread. On top of that, road favorites in the Pac-12 is 5-0 straight up. All right. Hey, the line opened up, like I said earlier, 3.5. It moves down to 2.5. We always talk about magic numbers when it comes to the line. This is right below that magic number of 3. Yes. So while it's at 2.5, this is a time you might want to go before it can move to 3. If you can get that 2.5 now, now's the time. Because again, started at 3.5, moved down a whole point. That means some people's betting that thing down. I like UCLA in this matchup. All the underlying metrics point to these teams being equal on offense, defense, line play, so forth. So with that said, I'm going to take the home field team that has previous success against a common opponent. And hey, you got to love home teams on a Friday night when they have the television all to themselves. So take UCLA, take the -2. Hey, I'll even go to the 3. But once it gets to -3.5, it's stay away. But hey, anytime it's 3 and below, take your Bruins this week on Friday
All right,
night.
take the Bruins. Take the Bruins. Friday night delight from the calculator. All right, we have another matchup calculator. This is the Big Ten matchup.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, you know what? Always got a lot of early action too. We got a lot of 12 o'clock games that caught the calculators eye this week. But yeah, if you follow this show, which I hope you do, you know the calculator was a stay away from Iowa early in the 2 weeks. They always seem to have a lull in the first 2 weeks. Well, it appears that Vegas has overcorrected for Iowa due to their slow start. So that's why the calculator started pouncing as soon as that Nevada game hit 2 weeks ago. Hey, the Iowa's defense is as elite as any in the country and has allowed over only 10 points all year. Just on this show last week, what did we say? We said I would get one of those patented late touchdown or turnovers to cover against Rutgers, which they did. They actually had 2 turnovers to be correct, which allowed them to have an easy cover over Rutgers, which we predicted last week. Iowa is 9-2 against the spread against AP top 5 ranked teams since the start of 2008, and Michigan has lost 4 consecutive games outright at Iowa, which is where this matchup is. Add all that up, and I'm getting not 3 points, not 7 points. I'm getting a field goal and a touchdown with a stout defense at home in Iowa. Take the Hawkeyes, take the 10 points. I think they take Michigan to the wire this at 12 o'clock on Saturday.
Man, 10 points, man. That's a lot of points. The bookies
Double
does have
digits
a lot of faith in Michigan.
That's right. Yeah, and Michigan showed that they could be run on. Maryland, they had no problems running on Michigan last week. Michigan still pulled out the victory, but hey, I like what I saw. And like I said, anytime you give me a top 10 defense at a home field advantage and you're giving me double digits, I'm going to take it all day long. So that's why I like the Buckeyes plus 10.
All right, take the Iowa Hawkeyes with the 10. All right, Heavenly Spa Mobile, 2484 Ingleside Avenue, Building A, Suite 101-A, Macon, Georgia, 31204. Latanya, she can be reached at 478-747-9231. That's 478-747-9231. Heavenly Spa Mobile, where relaxation is the key.
Absolutely.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Calculate, you know what time it is, bro.
Oh, yeah. That's right, everybody. Can you smell what the calculator is cooking? Yes. Hey, I love our friends of the show. As soon as lines open, say, "Hey, calculators, this is smell line, calculators, this smell." So I got to give my shout out to our friend of the show, Bo, who's probably on the porch, grilling up some shrimp with some bacon wraps.
That sounds good.
Some natty lights. He likes his natty lights at nighttime, my friend. So yes, this is Kentucky. Get this, getting 7 points, a full touchdown, top 10 team getting 7 points against Kentucky. So, hey, when Bo said, "Hey, calculators, this is smelling," I said, "Oh, that sounds smelly right from the get-go. Let me do some investigating." So I'm saying, hey, Kentucky is 15-5-2 against the spread against AP top-ranked teams since 2015. This is the largest favor Ole Miss has been against a top 10 team since the FBS FCS split in 1978. And Ole Miss is 0-3 against the spread as a favorite against AP top 10 against since the FBS FCS split as well. So how in the world, with all those trends, is Ole Miss a 7-point favorite? Well, you know what? That means Vegas knows something that the Joe public doesn't. One of the biggest myths out there is that Vegas wants a 50-50 split so they can collect big. That's not entirely true. What bookmakers really want is to manage their action in a way that leaves them rooting on the same side as sharp bettors. Thus, that would put them against the public. And I'm telling you, I've been seeing the money pour in, and that line has not move. You would have thought all this money coming in on Kentucky early would have pushed the line under that 7 point. But what's happening is, if you're looking behind the scenes, the wise guys are putting money, keeping that line at 7. It's not moving a budge. So that has calculated very, very suspicious. So, hey, this is a prime example. This is your smelly line. So I'm going with the sharps on this one. I'm taking the Ole Miss, giving up the touchdown. I think Kentucky could be a little overvalued because of their early season matchup where they beat the University of Florida at home. Florida kind of seems that, they are hit and miss. They don't have the elite quarterback. They don't have the elite offense that Ole Miss can bring to the table, especially at home. Lane Kiffin, I give that a coaching edge in that as well. So, yeah, I'm taking Ole Miss. I'm going to give up the 7 points. Hey, you might as well bet it now because I don't see it really going anywhere. Like I said, I thought all the early money coming on when this opened up at 7 and it's still at 7, so that has me very very suspicious. So hey, I'm gonna go with the wise guys. I'm gonna go with the sharps. I'm taking Ole Miss. I'm giving up the touchdown.
All right. And you going with the wise guys, and we're going with you, calculator.
That's right.
All right. Next matchup here. Texas Tech.
Oh
Man,
yeah,
with the
hey,
big surprise last week.
I about to say, how are they on every single podcast? That's because we tried to gauge Texas Tech, week to week, and what's happening. But listen, both of these teams came off big upsets last week. Okay, on one part, the people they saw Texas Tech at home against Texas. Hey, we told you to take Texas Tech. They were getting too many points at home against a what I thought was a kind of a deleted Texas team playing tough competition after tough, and it caught up with it. Texas Tech outright win. On the flip side, Kansas State actually dominated a lot. It was a lot. It wasn't nearly as close as the score indicated in their win against Oklahoma. Right? Kansas State outright win. Kansas State is a team that I also, in addition to Texas Tech, I has been following for the year. The reason I say that is because they proved me wrong early on when they took Missouri behind the woodshed and whooped them up. But then I doubled down on it and I said, okay, that was a mirage. I'm going to take Tulane, not to have them to cover, but hey, they won outright. But then I said, okay, but I said, stay away from the Oklahoma game. I need another week to see which Kansas State team shows up. And I think the real Kansas State team showed up. That is what caught my eyes, their victory against Oklahoma. So, hey, they got a swarming defense. They can run anytime they want. Kansas State is 4-0-1 against Texas Tech since 2017. Kansas State is 12-5-1 against the spread under their current head coach, Chris Kleeman, which is the best cover percentage as a favorite in the Big 12 since the start of the 2019 season. On the flip side, Texas Tech 2-4 straight up and against the spread against AP ranked opponents since last start of last season. And guess what? One of those two wins was last week. So, hey, Texas Tech is a completely different team on the road. We saw it in their matchup against NC State 2 weeks ago. So I see a big letdown for the Texas Tech Raiders. Hey, they're also, they're still working on their backup quarterback who's still young, still processing. And you know how young quarterbacks are on the road. They can get flustered, especially in Manhattan, which is a tough place to play. So early on in the season, I had, before these upsets, I actually had a look line as a Kansas State as a 10-point favorite against Texas Tech. And I think that came down a little with Texas Tech winning that home game. So right. I get a little cushion. So, hey, I feel comfortable giving up the 8 points in this one. I can actually go 8.5, 9, 10. You're probably looking at a push. So, but hey, right now it's -8. I will say take this now because I do think this could move up to your 10 mark. So take Kansas State, take the Wildcats, go with 8 points. And Texas Tech's a good team. I'm not going to not take anything from them, but I think this is just a lot to ask for a fairly young team going on the road in the Big Apple, known as Kansas State, Manhattan, of the Wildcats. So take
right.
Take your Wildcats.
All right.
Give up the 8.
Okay. All right, man. You going out west with this matchup here coming up next, calculator, consisting of the Oregon State Beavers.
That's right. And the reason I go out west because Utah, ever since I was on the right side of the line with the Utah-Florida game, I wanted to kind of follow this team to see if the logic was there. But hey, you may be saying, calculator. Oregon State is another one of those 8 teams that is 4-0 against the spread. And calculator. You have to think Oregon State is 4-0 as a double-digit underdog. And I say, yeah, you know what? Calculator still not scared. Oregon State has to be feeling a little empty, letting one slip away from USC, even though they covered. UCLA still came out on top, but it was a close game. Oregon State gave them a big. But again, Oregon State is a much different team at home. On top of that, the Beavers aren't very good against the run. And guess what? That could come back to haunt you against a Utah team that has one of the top 5 offensive lines in the country. So, yes, I agree. Utah is missing their stud tight end. Brant Kuthi, and that could be a problem for in the long haul. But right now, at home, I think Oregon State's going to be a little overvalued because of what they've done this year. But I'm telling you, I've seen it. I saw it last year. I saw it 2 years ago, Oregon State is different away from home. So that's why I'm only giving up 10. I'm not giving up 2 touchdowns, which I thought it would have been. So I'm going to give up Utah State. I'm going to give up the 10 points. And I think Utah State wins rather comfortably at home against Oregon State Beavers.
All right, take Utah. Got another one, calculator, but before we get into that matchup, we have to hit another sponsor, okay? If you have no problems with that. Black Tie. If you're looking for a DJ in the local Middle Georgia area, 478-973-3669. Check out Black Tie for your DJ services. 478-973-3669. Black Tie. All right, calculator.
I got a question. Does Black Tie play 80s music at some of their events?
Oh yeah, play everything. Black Tie can play it all.
All right, just making sure, because I'm definitely an '80s fans when I go out partying, man.
Okay, all right. So, are you in the Wham? Wham.
I do like big hair. I like the big hair bands, the Bon Jovis, the Poison, and stuff like that, man.
Okay, all right.
But hey, I like a couple Wham songs,
All right, I thought you was a Hall Notes guy too, so that's all right.
Oh, don't give me. I take that back. I'm not all big hair bands, but I love me some Daryl Hall and John Oates.
There you go. Hall and Notes. We need to have a Hall Notes segment come in the future. That calculator. That would be awesome. There. My favorite Hall Notes song, "Man Eater."
Oh man, I remember at the skating rink dancing to that on the roller skates, man. Everybody saying that's my jam. They start getting out there and start start rolling a little bit faster.
Yeah. So, there it is. Mm-hmm. Well, you know what time it is, calculator.
Oh, people waiting for it, Mr. 411.
All right, here we go.
Big win. Epic win.
Yeah, surprising. A lot of times I don't do jackpots for SEC teams because they're almost like the NFL. The bookmakers really got them going. But this one really caught my eye and I'll label it later on why it was my jackpot. But hey, Texas A&M 0-6 straight up, 3-3 against the spread as a road underdog under Jumbo Fisher. Right, Mississippi State on the flip side, 7-4 against the spread against your Texas A&M since the FBS SEC split since 1978. If you show the A&M Arkansas game, if you saw that game last week, the Razorbacks was the better team. But hey, they just could not recover from that real odd turnover by quarterback RJ Jefferson, where the Aggies rode the momentum and won it late as the Razorbacks missed a very makeable field goal. On the flip side, the Bulldogs came out last week, no nonsense attitude, and did what they did against an inferior team in Bowling Green and just dominated the whole game. Yes, the Bulldogs did let a winnable game a couple weeks ago get away from them in Baton Rouge, but there should be plenty of focus for State to play well in front of their fans versus a team they beat last year at College Station. So yes, what made this jackpot was the things that happened last week that I really like, and I don't think it moved the line as much as I think it should. What A&M relies on is their running game. They got one of the best runners in the league, and Devon Achane. Well, why has he been so successful? Why are there a lot of holes? Well, they also had a stud receiver, Aeneas Smith at A&M. Well, guess what? Aeneas Smith has just been announced. He got injured last year. He's out for the year. So now the Bulldogs can actually focus on what I think is going to be the only weapon that Texas A&M can use in Achane. So as long as I don't have to give up the full touchdown, I'm only giving up 4 points. I got the team that's at home, and I got a team that has common success against this opponent, and the other team is still reeling off. It could also be a hangover. That was a tough way for them to lose. To win, because they were dominating every facet. I don't see Mississippi State, having so many a different mistake, a big mistake that cost them this game. So that's why I got Mississippi State -4. All those underlying factors. That's why the calculator says this is his jackpot of the week.
Absolutely, jackpot, baby. All right, we love the jackpot segment. That's when we know we're gonna lock things in for the week.
That's right. That's right.
Calculator, come on, man. I know you're digging now. You're digging deep.
Hey, everybody was
South
asking about it.
Alabama.
Yeah, it was I got to get one of those teams. I mean, people were laughing at my James Madison pick. They won straight up, folks. I won you guys money on James Madison. And then you really doing Hawaii, New Mexico State? Hey, it was a winner. We don't care who plays. We just care about winners. So I went deep on this one. I went into the swamps of Mobile, Alabama, and saw a surprising team. Your South Alabama Jaguars -9 against the Raisin Cajuns. Okay, hey, you may be saying, who the heck is South Alabama? Well, remember we talked about only those 8 teams that have covered every game this season.
Yes.
South Alabama is one of those teams. But hey, not only has South Alabama covered every game this year, they covered every game by 18 points. Let me repeat that.
Whoa.
18 points. Yes, they have covered the spread, but they almost beat UCLA just a couple weeks ago because Alabama, I'm telling you, I don't know what they're doing out there in Mobile, but they did it for this year. Hey, they're on nobody's radar. So I said, I think I can get this one. It actually opened up, get this, Mr. 4-1, as a 7.5. I'm thinking 7.5. I was going to jump on it right then and there. Well, it already moved to 9 by the time I got my bet out there. So I actually was able to get them 9, but I don't think it'll move to that magic number of 10. So, hey, -9 calculators, still fine, right? So they've been South Alabama terrific all year, whether at home, on the road. 2 weeks ago, I talked about the UCLA. Hey, and they beat a different team in Louisiana just last week, 38-14 in Louisiana Tech. Yes, I think the South Alabama team can keep it rolling. So I don't mind giving up the 9 points. Hey, folks, take the league with the calculator. Ride the Jaguars for as long as they can, because I guarantee you, at the beginning of the season, this would have been the books have almost adjusted by 18 points. It just took them a little while to get there because I had the Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns, as possibly a 10-point favorite at the beginning of the year, the look ahead line, and now it's 9. So we're talking about a 19-point difference. So that is a little steep, but hey, I still think South Alabama's got something in store. So yeah, I like the Jaguars at -9 against the Raging Cajuns.
Oh yeah, you have to roll with the hot hand. So if South Alabama's getting it done for you, keep rolling, right?
Yeah, and if you follow the show, I was not a believer early on. They slapped my hand when I took Central Michigan against South Alabama. South Alabama, they dominated Central Michigan from the kickoff to the end of the game.
All right.
South Alabama is a solid team.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, we have the NFL that we have to cover. But before we get into the NFL calculator, we have another one. We have one more. We have a special, one.
Wait, where's the Dr. Sack special? Well, folks, we saved that for the end for you. We saved the best for the last. Dr. Sack's model has been pitch perfect. So we said, hey, Dr. Sacks, now I got his number, so he can't just be popping in anytime. Now I might keep bugging him for stuff because, hey, we'd like to get these people as much information as possible. Iowa Cyclones, -3 against your Kansas Jayhawks. I said, Dr. Sacks, Kansas, I've been riding those chokers all game. They've been hitting the spread all year long. But yes, and Iowa State has struggled in close games, but the turnover big got them last week. Kansas offense have been fantastic all season, but this will be by far the best defense Kansas has faced this season. And one just sense, you got to have a sense that the Kansas bubble could burst at any moment, especially when they have a big team coming in town and they're the favorite. Well, they're actually not the favorite. They're not the favorite. Iowa State's -3, but
Right.
but everybody said this is probably a time to pick the public dog, and I'm not buying it. I'm with Dr. Sacks on this one. I started looking at it. Iowa State -3. That is your play, and I want to special thank you. Dr. Sacks is probably in Biloxi, going to the Gulfport right now at the sports book, trying to get that Iowa State -3 before that line moves anymore. So yes, take the Cyclones and give up the 3.
And calculator, you already know what time it is. What are the 3 things?
What are the 3 things that 411 believes in?
411 believes in God. 411 still believes in Santa Claus.
Hey, he's a wonderful guy.
And 411 believes in Dr. Sacks.
Yes. his Dr. Sachs and his model. Thank you, Dr. Sachs.
And
Like
I
I
love
said,
how
he still doesn't go into the specific of his model. He gives me a broad overview. He like I said, he keeps that locked up like the Coke formula. So, but hey, whatever works, we're just thankful. Glad Dr. Sachs lets us have a little sneak peek at it every week.
yeah, we love how he delivers that to us. And a lot of times he delivers it. It could be any time. It could be 3 o'clock in the morning.
And sometimes it's encrypted for Mr. 401. I was like, I
I
gotta
know.
take out my password and username. It's like, what did Mr. Sachs give me to be able to unlock this pick? So,
Yeah.
but hey, we do what we can.
And you're right. He will not give up that formula. I've tried many a time, and he just won't give it up.
But he spent years perfecting it. So hey, he put the work in it. Now it's starting to pay off.
Yes, sir. All right. Hey, on Sundays, speaking of with all this college talk that we have going on, check out the podcast on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m. Triple Option. That's where you can listen to Zach. He's from the Sports Brothers. You can listen to Coy and Orion, our college experts, as the three of them get out there and tackle the college game. They review the Saturday's action and actually Thursday through Saturday's action. So check out Triple Option. There's a lot of good conversation on there and a lot of breakdowns and a lot of top 25 talk. And also, a lot of FCS talk as well. So if you're a college fan, check out Triple Option on Sundays at 9:30 a.m. And if you in any episodes that you need to catch up on, just go to YouTube, hit that like, subscribe, and notify, and check out all the episodes. Triple Option. Calculator, it's time to switch over to the NFL, over to the professionals.
That's right.
Man.
To help these people out with because a lot of people it's either fantasy football, but a lot of people also like to do office pools when it comes to NFL. So that's where the calculator wants to come and give some NFL knowledge to you people.
Exactly, and you with the NFL, you tend to go with the straight up picks, correct?
Yes, we don't dive too much into point spreads for the mere fact that if you're doing an office pool, it doesn't involve. I mean, if it involves point spread, that's definitely something you can do in the comment section if you want us to look at it in future. But due to time constraints and stuff, we're just going to do straight up picks. But we also know survivor pools are also pools that are very popular right now, especially early in the season. So that's why I do a little extra info on straight up picks that you might want to target for survivor pools.
Absolutely. Oh, today's Thursday, so you know what that means. Games are on Amazon Prime, and you have to try to figure out how to find these games and all that kind of stuff. So, but we do know that tonight is going to be an exciting game. You have the undefeated Miami Dolphins. They're traveling to the state of Ohio to play the Cincinnati Bengals, who will be wearing their all-white jerseys tonight. So, with their all-white helmet. So it should be interesting there. But the Dolphins at Cincinnati.
Another thing, this is Joe Burrow versus Tua Tagovailoa 2. Remember, they did face off as Alabama versus LSU in LSU's title year. The shootout that was, back and forth. Joe Burrow did come out on top. But hey, they're now going to set the duke it out on Sundays. So this could be the beginning of this. Could almost be a Tom Brady / Peyton Manning rivalry. Hopefully, if these teams can stay on top of it as much. But yeah, I think two young quarterbacks, two teams, Thursday night on the main stage. And as you can see, I'm going with the Bengals. I just think home field advantage is going to be a little too much. Miami showed that, it was weird. It was a weird game against Kansas City. It's almost like Kansas City,
Buffalo.
Buffalo. I'm sorry. I'm still on the Kansas City against Indy upset as well.
Yes.
Shell shock. But yeah, the Buffalo pick. Everybody, but Josh Allen was really off. But to the Buffalo's defense, they were missing some secondary players. So that's where Miami was able to attack later in the game, and then come out on top. And their defense really stifled Josh Allen. But I think Cincinnati, they're 4 points favorite, so the books like them too. So I like Cincinnati at home. I think they showed that they can right the ship last week, win a must game, even though it was the lowly Jets. But I think they'll have enough to win against the Dolphins. Now, if people got to wake up early on Sunday, they got that game in London. Your Minnesota Vikings it says at New Orleans Saints, but this is in London. So when I look at teams in London, I just look for what I think is the healthier and what I think is roughly the better team. I'm a Saints fan, I'll be first to admit it, but they have trouble scoring. And you're going to put them on that sloppy field at Tottenham Stadium, which is built for soccer matches. I think that's just going to favor Minnesota Vikings. They're healthy. Jameis Winston's still beat up. Jarvis Landry hurt. Michael Thomas for the Saints hurt. Kamara still doesn't look right. So yeah, I'm going to take the Vikings in this one. Cleveland Browns, even though I think the Falcons, they did what we said they were going to do. They were going to beat a bad team in Seattle. Cleveland's not quite that bad. Although Myles Garrett could miss the game, and that could affect Myles Garrett, a non-football injury. If people weren't paying attention, he got in a car accident, went left with some injuries. Luckily, no fatalities. The car flipped a couple of times. But they said he could be out there, and if he's out there, but I think what's going to win Cleveland against Atlanta, the strength of the Cleveland Browns is the running game, the weakness of Atlanta Falcons. Through the first 3 games, I'm not going to count the Seattle game because Seattle's a whole different team, but Atlanta was almost allowing 6 yards per rush on first down, and I think that's what Cleveland's going to do. They're going to run on first down. They're going to run on second down. They're not going to have to run on third down because they're probably going to get the first down on the second down run. See what I'm saying? Right. So follow the pattern. I think the Browns will just bulging, run, and they have the horses to do it. They go 3 deep at the running back position. So I think the Cleveland Browns can do enough. Because the Falcons, even though I love the cornerbacks, but I think only cornerbacks can do so much. Cornerbacks aren't going to be tuckling Nick Chubb around the corner. So yeah, I like Browns on that one. I think the Buffalo Bills. It's going to be a great game. I'm very upset that I have to watch the Falcons play the Browns because I really wanted to watch Baltimore play Buffalo. But hey, but I still think Buffalo's the best team in the AFC. They're going to be on the road. They're still going to be angry. They have the type A defensive personnel that can slow down the Ravens. So that's why I like the Buffalo Bills. I still think it's going to be pretty much of a shootout, but I think the Buffalo Bills are going to outscore the Ravens because what's the weakness of the Baltimore Ravens? Their secondary. Who's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL? Josh Allen for the Bills, who has some of the best set of receivers. The Buffalo Bills, Allen. Gabe Davis, Isaiah McKenzie, Stephon Diggs. Yes. There's going to be plenty of scoring for the Buffalo Bills. So that's why I think they'll just outscore Baltimore. Dallas. I love Cooper Rush. I love what he does. I love his command of the offense. But I think this defense going against Carson Wentz, who showed that Carson Wentz is still Carson Wentz. And now he's going to be on the road. He's going to be against a top 5 defensive unit that likes takeaways. I wasn't surprised if the Dallas Cowboys, if you do those little prop bets, anytime defensive touchdown, I think the Cowboys can do it. They led the league in turnout for touchdowns last year. They have yet to get one this year, and I think Carson Wentz can hand them one. But that's why I like Dallas. I just think their defense is going to win this game for them. A survivor pick. If you do not have Green Bay available, if you pick them in one of your if you picked them week 1, you're out of the Survivor League. But if you happen to pick them in week 2 against Chicago, this is your second pick. You can pick the Detroit Lions. Yes, Amon St. Brown is nicked up, and DeAndre Swift is nicked up. Detroit goes 3 deep in their running back room with Jamal Williams, and Craig Reynolds is going to come in there and give them some relief. And Jared Goff is playing some of the best football he has in the past few years, and they're at home, and Seattle is just a bad team. So if you don't have Green Bay on your list, take your Detroit Lions as your survivor pick. Chargers, I think they right the ship again. Not just because they're playing anybody, but because they're playing the Houston Texans. I think Herbert can do enough with his thing. Houston is just neck bitten for some reason because even though they're in almost every game, they just can't seem to pull it out. And I think the Chargers have enough firepower to win against this one. Tennessee Titans, this is my surprise pick. A lot of people like what Indy did against KC. Mike Vrabel is Frank Reich's kryptonite. Mike Vrabel knows how to beat the Indianapolis Colts. Derrick Henry knows how to beat the Indianapolis Colts. Tannehill knows how to beat. I can go on and on and on. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? The Tennessee Titans front line, what do? They like to pressure the quarterback. And guess what? Matt Ryan isn't known for his scrambling ability. So I think he'll be under duress throughout the game. So that's why I think Tennessee Titans comes to play and pulls out another victory against the Colts. New York Giants, the Bears on the road. Giants, Wink Martindale, the defensive coordinator for the New York Giants, he loves to blitz. But guess what? Justin Fields don't like blitzes. He doesn't perform well against blitzes. And so what Wink Martindale's going to do, he's going to blitz them. So that's why I think the Giants will have no problems beating the Chicago Bears. Eagles, hey, we've talked about it almost before. Eagles been one of Calculator's favorite teams. I've been calling they've been paying off, right? You know what I'm saying? They don't even have to play second half games because they get so far ahead. And I think this could be another wake-up call for the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars, a lot of people hanging on the, hey, look, see what the Jaguars did to the Chargers last week. Well, they're not going to be able to do the same thing to the Eagles because the Eagles have a much better offensive line than the Chargers, my friend, and they have a much better defense than the Chargers. So I think the Eagles win fairly easy. I wouldn't do a survivor pick though, because Jacksonville, you never know what you're going to get out of them sometimes. But yeah, I do think they'll win straight up. This is where the Steelers welcome back Wilson to the fold. He's Wilson is coming back. Zach Wilson coming back for the Jets. He has lots of toys to go with. However, I think the Steelers have enough. They've actually showed me improvement on the offensive side of the board against that Cleveland team. So I think their offense has turned the corner. So I like the Steelers, being that they're at home, being they're playing Jets. I think it's closer than a lot of people think, but I do think the Steelers win. I think Arizona Cardinals get their first win in the season. Yay. But hey, they're playing Baker Mayfield, so, it is what it is. I mean, yes, you can say Mayfield beat the Saints. No, the Saints beat themselves against that Carolina team. I think Kyler Murray, this is his bounce back game. Arizona Cardinals have for some, they're built for dome stadiums, but regardless of stadiums, they are good on the road. So I like Arizona Cardinals to pull it out against the Panthers. Green Bay Packers, this is your survivor pick. If they are available, pick them now. I said one of the survivor tools is don't look too far in the future. Yes, Green Bay will have several matchups where they're double-digit favorites, but hey, we want to survive until the next week. So we can find other teams that'll be double-digit favorites. This is the only double-digit favorite in this week's slate. But the reason why is because New England is playing out without their quarterback, and they're playing on the road. And even though Bill Belichick has fared favorable in the past on the road, that was when he had Tom Brady at quarterback. So I'm going with the Green Bay Packers at home as your survivor pick as well. Raiders, I think they get it over your Broncos. I don't trust the Broncos. Their defenses play great, but how can their defense continue to bail out the awful play of Russell Wilson? I'm thinking Seattle made the right decision. Granted, still kind of early on in his Broncos career, but
we made the right decision.
$100 million for your field goal kicker getting a lot of play and your defense bailing you out. No, sir. Good. I have to credit Seattle pulling the plug on that one. And I think the Raiders, right the ship. They haven't won a game yet, and I think this is their time. They play well at home, and I think, and they know how to play well against the Denver Broncos. So I think the Raiders have something for them this, and I think they'll pull it out. And another, this is going to be a great name because you got a defense against an offense. You have that the Tampa Bay defense, top 10 in the league against they kind of sputtered against Indianapolis, but I think they can do enough on the road, prime time. Andy Reid loves prime time, and I think Tampa Bay, until they get all their tools back, they are still a field goal kicking team. We don't see them turning into touchdowns. They just don't have it in them. So that's why I think the Chiefs score the touchdowns while the Buccaneers are scoring the field goals, and that's why I like the Chiefs. And actually, I don't know if the number's 4 or 3, but I would take the Chiefs to cover because I think they win by at least a touchdown in this one. And then, we talked about kryptonite, right? We talked about how Frank Reich's kryptonite was the coach of the Titans. This is the same thing. Favorable. This is the same thing. San Francisco, for some reason, they have had the Rams number. Well, you say, calculate. Why are you picking the Rams then? Well, guess what? I think the Rams got the monkey off their back in the NFC Championship last year when they beat the 49ers. And I think Garoppolo's still in training camp, in my opinion, and it looked like it in Denver. He looked awful. So I think the Rams, they have more playtime, I should say, with their starters. I think Allen Robinson can get more involved. And, Cleveland kind of showed that, hey, if you blitz Garoppolo, get him off his mark until he gets Kittle still, banged up. Debo Samuel, I mean, he, I don't know if something happened with him running the ball that he wears down or something. And Ayuk is really the most explosive receiver on the 49ers, in my opinion, right now. But I think the Rams just have too much. I think Aaron Donald will probably have too much disruption to Garoppolo. So that's why I'm taking the Rams against, they took the kryptonite, they threw it back out in the ocean, and they said, okay, we can beat the 49ers now.
Yeah, because it's something about that matchup too. If we've been around long enough to know, even back in the day, the Rams and 49ers, it's always been one of those type of matchups where you're like, they were just always tough on each other.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I'm with you this week. It's got to be the Rams.
Yeah.
Man, what a job, calculator. I mean, I hope everyone hits that like, that subscribe, and that notification button, because all the information, man, is right there for you. I mean, you want to collect those winnings. You all you have to do is just watch Crossing the Lines. It's on YouTube every Thursday, 6:05 p.m. The calculator comes in, it gives his time. Dr. Sachs is delivering information to us, in the middle of the night at times. So they're out here working for you. So make it easy on yourself.
That's right. And I started it off with my saying last episode, but I'll end with my saying is the calculator is a capitalist. And what that means is the calculator, Dr. Sachs, and Bo on the grill drinking his natty lights. We want everybody to make as much money as possible.
That's it. That's the name of the game. And shout out to Bo on the grill.
Right. On the grill, bacon wrapped shrimp is what he's is on the menu for when he's watching Crossing the Lines this week.
Absolutely, we appreciate Bo. All right, calculator. Oh, we appreciate Dr. Sachs as well. Always.
Oh yes, absolutely.
That's right, calculator. Appreciate you and all the listeners out there and viewers. We appreciate you as well. Mm-hmm. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like, subscribe, notify. All right. For the calculator, I'm Mr. 4-1. We out.
Bye, everyone.